Hey mathematicians, the next activity that we're going to work on is going to be called 10 to 10. This math activity is designed for mathematicians from second grade and up, and I know that really seems like a really large age range and mathematical ability level range, and that's because it is. This is a really great activity because it's going to challenge mathematicians to really think about each of the moves that they're going to make. It's going to have them practice multi-operational math, and it's going to really make them think and problem solve as they work on getting to 10. The goal of this activity is to do 10 steps, getting you to the answer of 10. So what you're going to use for this is you're going to use a deck of cards. I have pulled out the face cards and the tens, so we're leaving ace through 9 in this particular deck. And then you're going to set up a recording sheet with just a simple 1 through 10 at the bottom. Again, the goal of this activity is to get to the amount 10 by the end of the activity. So you're going to take your deck of cards and you're going to draw out the first 6 cards. It does not matter what you draw out, because for this, you're going to have the opportunity to use these cards as many times as you want. It's not like other activities where once you use an amount, it's out, you can continue to use that particular amount. The key, though, is you have to do 10 different steps. So, for example, one mathematician might look and say, well, I have a 3 and a 7. I already have 10, which is true. But you have to go through all 10 different steps. So here's where the different operations are going to come in. Mathematicians are going to start to notice that if they rely strictly on addition, their quantity is going to continue to increase and increase and increase, which means they're then going to have to do something, hopefully subtract, to start to make their amount decrease and decrease. So that would be looking at it through the lens of most likely a second grade mathematician. Now, third grade mathematicians might be a little bit more confident in their mathematical abilities with different operations, addition, subtraction, certainly multiplication, and hopefully some division as well. So what might a third grade mathematician do? They might say to themselves, well, I have 10 steps before I have to get to 10. So it's okay for me to start building larger amounts and then work back from there. That's what you should also be seeing with your fourth, your fifth, your sixth grade mathematicians as well. So let's take a look at how we're going to start the activity. I'm going to start by adding the 8 and the 3. So when I add 8 and 3, I get 11. I'm going to record that as my first step on my board. So I've got my 8 plus 3 equals 11. So now I have the amount of 11. I know 11 is close to 10, but I also know that I have 9 other moves to make. So now I am going to take the 2 and the 4 and make 6. So I'm going to do 2 plus 4, and that's going to give me 6. And I'm going to add that to the 11 that I have, and that's going to give me 17. So again, now you're thinking about having to use parentheses in your operations. Now I have the amount of 17. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take 17, and again, I could subtract 7, which would get me to 10, but I still have all these other steps to do. It's okay if I decide to do that, though, so let's do that. Let's take 17 and subtract 7, which puts me right at 10. Now, what you might see here is some mathematicians are going to do something like add 8, subtract 8, add 3, subtract 3. And that's okay because it's giving them the opportunity to show what they know and show what they understand. So if you're starting to see that after they've done a couple of the steps in the round, that's okay. What you might want to do as a parent or as a teacher supporting them in their learning is suggest that they do something different. Other mathematicians who are a little bit older might start to use operations like division. So for example, I'm already at 10, but I can't stay there because I still have these other rounds to do. So I'm going to do 10, and I'm going to divide that by 2. I have a 2 here, so I'm going to divide that by 2, and that's going to give me 5. So now I'm no longer at my target of 10, and I can continue to go because I have 6 more moves before I get to the 10th and final move, which will hopefully have me at 10. All right, so I have 5, and now I'm going to do 5 plus 6, which will give me 11. The next thing that I'm going to do is 11 plus 4, which will give me 15. So what's fantastic when we think about this activity and we think about older, more sophisticated mathematicians, and that's not to say that younger mathematicians might not do this as well, but now they're going to have to start to strategize. They're going to have to start thinking about the amounts they have, and they're going to have to start thinking about the moves they make because they're running low on moves, which means they're going to have to be thinking not only about the math that they're doing right now, but what math they might be doing next. So again, a great activity to keep them thinking, to keep them challenged. You could have more than one mathematician working on this at the same exact time because they're not likely to make the same math decisions. And a great way to have a math conversation about it would be, what did you do in this round and why did you choose to do that? What do you think you're going to do in the next round? So back to our activity. We are at 15, so I'm going to take that 15 and I am going to add 3 to that, which will give me 18. I am going to take that 18 and I'm going to divide it by 2, which is going to give me 9. Again, remembering it's okay if mathematicians use an amount for more than one of their moves. It's also okay if they start to rely on something they know that works. So for example, for me, there have been 2 opportunities where I have divided by 2. That's not a problem. It's showing what I understand about that. All right, so I have a total amount of 9. The next thing that I'm going to do is 9 divided by 3, because I have a 3 here. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. Final round, final move. Right now I have an amount of 3. It's my 10th move and I have to get to 10. So I am going to take the 3 that I have. I'm going to add it to the 7 that's on the board. And I'm going to have a total of 10. So this is the math activity 10 to 10. 10 moves that a mathematician would make to get them to the amount of 10. It can be adjusted for any type of math flexibility that you want. Maybe you do 10 to 100. Maybe you do 10 to 1,000. Just keep in mind that when you enlarge the quantity, you change the mathematical difficulty that goes along with the activity. That's perfectly fine to do because we can adapt all these activities in any way that we want to do them. Happy mathing!